misioneros, por favor, van a tener que salir.
Hay unas personas que se quieren integrar o misionar turismo. También los otras personas son representantes de otros países.
From Peru, Isla Is Michelle here? Oh, Michelle, will you translate for us? Well, for us. El maestro pidió que vinieran los misioneros porque él quiere hablar con ellos. Necesitamos un trabajo muy duro, de ahora en adelante, más fuerte. Entonces, el que sea misionero se tiene que entregar totalmente. Va a haber unos lineamientos que se establecieron en Delhi, en India, los vamos a tener muy pronto para que nosotros sigamos esos lineamientos. There are some people.
Could you translate in English?
Okay. Yeah, Master wanted to talk. Yeah, Master wanted to talk to all the missionaries today because he wanted to tell them that we are really to work hard in the mission and to give all ourselves to the mission of the Master now at this time. There are new guidelines. They were set up in Delhi, India, and we are going to share them with you now.
Master, that'll take do you want to go over this new, it's going to take very much.
That you can do separately without me.
Yes, Master doesn't need to be with us to go over the guidelines.
Or I will go and you can keep it and you can eat your food, lunch, and then discuss something.
See, Veronica, he doesn't need to be here to go over those, he's already gone over them.
Well, we want to know something. Wish for from now.
Okay, but if I am needed, I can stay also.
I feel, to be
It
honest,
will take 1 hour or more.
well, to be honest with you,
But they have gone through all those.
the new guidelines aren't even out yet. They're still being printed. And,
We have our own.
but how could you, because they were coming from one place, the international, after we were in India with Master?
But let it be that what is prepared internationally, that may be accepted by all.
It's still not, it's almost complete, it's still not
It's not much difference, but still there should be some unity.
Yeah.
It should not be that place.
Estamos hablando sobre nuevas líneas directrices, nuevos lineamientos para el trabajo misional. Hay unos nuevos lineamientos a nivel mundial y el maestro acaba de decir que tiene que haber unidad en esos lineamientos. Y sí, no debe haber muchas diferencias entre los distintos países, sino que tiene que haber una línea común, una cierta unidad en el trabajo misional.
So my dear children, I love you all, but the situation of the world is very much hard, so we will have to work hard.
Mis amados niños, yo les amo a todos ustedes, pero la situación del mundo es muy dura, por eso hemos de trabajar muy duro también.
Cannot listen, can come forward, please.
Si quieren avanzar,
Cannot listen properly. All like you see, my dear I have come only in this world for the purpose that the light of God which is emitted from the world and all the hearts are dark, that there should be light in all the hearts of the people, and this light may be shining in the all wilderness of the world.
Mis queridos niños, mis amados niños, he venido en este mundo con el único propósito para que esta luz que no existe en los corazones, para que exista en los corazones, para que esta luz brille en los corazones que están en el desierto y en los bosques.
And there may be perhaps very few persons, maybe we can count them on the fingers, those who have some insight.
Y en realidad hay muy pocas personas, podemos contarlas con los dedos de las manos, que tienen una cierta visión interna.
Those who are meditating are just struggling.
Aquellos que están meditando están simplemente luchando.
But as we just open the eyes and see everything of this world, in the same way we are to find inside. Just close the outer eyes and you are in your kingdom and you find everything.
De la misma manera que con los ojos físicos vemos muchas cosas en este mundo externo, hemos de ser capaces con nuestro ojo interno de ver todo lo que hay internamente, con los ojos cerrados.
And it should be much more prominent and much more clear, 100 times, million times more than this outer worldly things we see.
Y lo interno debe ser incluso mucho más claro, mucho más prominente que el mundo externo físico que vemos.
Because outside is only one sun which is illuminating this world, but inside millions of suns are there.
Porque externamente hay solamente un sol que ilumina este mundo, pero internamente hay millones de soles que existen.
It means that whole of the world has been darkened and whole of the population is in health even now and will go to hell, and nobody is to even know what is God and what is the kingdom of God.
Lo cual quiere decir que todo este mundo ha sido obscurecido y que todo el mundo vive en el infierno e irán al infierno y nadie sabe nada de Dios y del reino de Dios.
And even now there are so many people who do not know anything about God and the kingdom of God.
Incluso ahora hay muchísima gente que no sabe nada de Dios ni del reino de Dios.
And some governments have also been established which made it illegal to tell anything about God or kingdom of God.
Incluso hay muchos gobiernos establecidos que en sus reinos, en sus gobiernos es ilegal saber nada de Dios y de su reino.
But if this state of affairs are allowed to continue in a little time, it will be a phase that all these scriptures will be no more available and that no one will be able to know anything or anything of kingdom of God or God.
Y si este estado de las cosas continúa, en muy poco tiempo las escrituras desaparecerán, no estarán disponibles para la gente y nadie podrá saber nada ni de Dios ni del reino de Dios.
And all the people of this world, human beings, are to be reduced to the level of animals.
Y todos estos seres humanos se reducirán al nivel de los animales.
That as animals do not know anything about God or the kingdom of God, nothing can be told also to them. The same will be the condition of the human beings.
De la misma manera que no se le puede decir nada a los animales de Dios y de su reino, será el caso de los seres humanos dentro de poco, tampoco se les podrá decir nada.
That is the total triumph or conquest of the negative power,
Y sería la conquista o la victoria total del poder negativo,
for which it is working hard day and night and successfully going on.
y el poder negativo trabaja fuerte para esto día y noche y está teniendo éxito.
But what about those souls who are here in this world?
Pero ¿qué pasa con las almas que viven aquí en este mundo?
Then they will continue to suffer for eternity. There will be no chance for them to be released.
Seguirán sufriendo por la eternidad y no tendrán ninguna oportunidad de salvarse.
So God and Master knows what is the situation, and he has to arrange in some way that these souls are not to suffer anymore.
Pero Dios y el Maestro conocen muy bien la situación y han de arreglar para que las almas no sufran nunca más.
So I have come only for this purpose, that this trend of the world is to be changed.
He venido solo con este propósito para que esta tendencia del mundo sea cambiada.
And no doubt I am suffering, but you are also to suffer.
Sin duda estoy sufriendo, pero ustedes también han de sufrir.
Why I have come over here? I was down in my highest heavens. Everything wonderful and wonderful.
Porque he venido aquí, estaba gozando en los cielos más elevados, todo estaba allí maravilloso y todo es maravilloso allá.
And I am now in this world, which is lowest part of my creation, and that devils and devils are there, and all are surrounding me
Y
in
estoy,
such like conditions that nobody can know about it.
y estoy ahora en la parte más baja de mi creación y hay tantos diablos y diablos alrededor de mí y nadie sabe nada de lo que es la verdad.
But I have not
Yeah,
come
muchas-
over here to tell my difficulty to you. I have come to release you and other souls of those eternal difficulties and problems.
Pero no he venido aquí para decirles a ustedes mis dificultades, sino para liberarlos a ustedes de todas las dificultades.
So as I had left my home, left all my everything, my kingdom, so if you have also something with you, you have also to sacrifice it. It's very little, nothing is there.
Como yo he dejado mi casa, he dejado mi reino, ustedes también han de sacrificar, pero lo que ustedes han de sacrificar es muy poco lo que han de sacrificar.
Although this work which has been given to you, nobody is eligible for this, nobody is capable to do it.
A pesar de que este trabajo que se les dio a ustedes, nadie es elegible, nadie es capaz de hacerlo.
You yourself have not been awakened in light and in that great kingdom of God. You are yet sometimes dreaming of it.
Ustedes mismos no se han despierto, no se han despertado en esta luz de Dios, en esta realidad. Y a veces a lo mejor están soñando en ello.
And I know that you cannot do justice to this subject.
Y yo sé que ustedes no pueden justificar este tema.
But Master Power is there with you. God Power is there with you.
Pero el poder maestro está aquí con ustedes.
And that is your hope. You cannot depend upon your learning or your spiritual awakening. It is only the Master Power which you are to keep with you, and everything wonderful will be accomplished.
Y es el único factor que trabaja de verdad, es el poder maestro. Y pueden depender en el poder maestro. Nunca dependerán de sus conocimientos o de sus capacidades.
This is your 100% hope, that you are to always keep your Master with you and depend upon him and ask for every moment his help, and then you will be really successful.
Y esta es la esperanza, 100%, esta es la esperanza de ustedes. Dependan siempre del poder maestro, pidan su ayuda y tendrán éxito.
And the things are coming up, and that you will also be very much coming up into your own self as soul in the kingdom of God and with God.
Y las cosas están apareciendo, están surgiendo. Ustedes también van a conocer esta luz, van a desarrollarse y conocer este surgimiento.
So whatever the condition may be, you have to keep on about 6 hours of meditations.
Y así ustedes tienen que seguir haciendo las 6 horas de meditación diarias,
It
En
may
cualquier
be,
situación.
en cualquier situación.
it may be working or it may not be working, it doesn't matter.
Aunque ello funcione o no funcione, no importa.
Master only needs that you are faithful in your duty, what you are to do.
Lo que el poder maestro, que el maestro quiere que ustedes sean sinceros haciendo su deber, lo que tienen que hacer.
And what is the fruit of it, Master knows, and he will use it for the worldly purposes.
Y en cuanto al fruto, El maestro sabe lo que es el fruto y sabe usarlo para el beneficio del mundo.
So it is useful that if you leave homes and fight for all the people who will all be made homeless, you will be also made homeless.
Y es útil que ustedes que puedan incluso dejar sus casas y que luchen con las personas que ni siquiera tienen casas. Ustedes tampoco tendrán casas.
To these military people in the olden days, it was given to know that the enemy has invaded and that you should go forward and fight for, not for living, but for being killed by the enemy, because we should take into consideration the worst situation.
Así, en los tiempos pasados se le decía a la armada, a la gente militar, que el enemigo está invadiendo nuestro país y nosotros hemos de combatir y tenemos que prepararnos para morir. Sabemos que vamos a morir, pero hemos de estar dispuestos para lo peor que pueda ocurrir.
That you may come back or may not come back, there may be conquest or there may be only failure, but you have to do your duty.
Podríamos regresar a casa o no podríamos regresar a casa, podríamos ganar o podríamos perder, pero hemos de hacer nuestro deber.
But if you feel like escaping and feel like that I should not go into the forefront and that should not be killed, then all will be killed, all the populace and you also.
Pero si ustedes tienen ganas de escapar y no tienen ganas de ir al frente para luchar, entonces no solo ustedes morirán, sino todos los demás morirán, perecerán. Toda la población.
So it is better that if at the sacrifice of some persons, all others are saved, we should do it.
Y estaría mucho mejor que sacrificando unas cuantas personas, toda la demás población sería salvada, entonces hay que hacerlo.
So here in this world, what a duty has been given to you. No doubt you may be suffering a little away from home, comforts, and a very hard duty of going here and there, everywhere, and facing also some negativities from the people, sometimes disappointments, sometimes you will have to confront with hatreds or some kind of rejections, but don't worry about anything.
Y así en nuestro caso vale la pena sacrificar este poco que hemos de sacrificar. Así tenemos que dejar nuestras casas, ir viajando de un lado para otro, aunque tengamos que enfrentar, que hacer frente a algunas negatividades, a veces algún odio, algunas dificultades, otro tipo de problemas. Hemos de hacerlo, hemos de hacerlo.
So you are always having there just some cloth settled, that please go on putting whatever you have got.
Así ustedes tienen un vestido que está abierto y así se les mete en este vestido todo lo que tiene que meterse.
And be lucky that you have been gifted by these people what you expected from them.
Y considérense ustedes a sí mismos afortunados de haber recibido los regalos de la gente, cualquier tipo de regalo que la gente les den a ustedes.
In fact, you are not to expect anything positive from anybody.
En realidad, ustedes no tienen que esperar nada positivo de cualquier persona.
This is something very real because this is world of negative power.
Y esto es algo muy real, porque este es el mundo del poder negativo.
And if the negative power is ruling and in this valley of death, then will there be anybody to help you or on your side?
Y si el poder negativo está gobernando en esta valle de la muerte, ¿habrá acaso alguien para ayudarles o para darles algo bueno?
And really we are opposing altogether the negative power. And when you go to destroy somebody's house or somebody's family, husband will also not be friendly to you.
Y en realidad aquí nos estamos oponiendo al poder negativo que está gobernando. Y cuando van ustedes a destruir o a deshacer la casa de alguien, esta persona va a resistir, va a tratar de resistir.
If you go to fight with an enemy who is really horrible, you cannot expect that he will love you and he will serve you.
cuando ustedes van a combatir, van a luchar contra un enemigo que es su horrible enemigo, no esperan ustedes a que este enemigo va a abrazarlos y a acogerlos.
And then you are to expect that they will fight with us, and we are to expect it. But we should be stronger than them.
Hay que esperar que este enemigo va a combatir con nosotros, va a luchar contra nosotros, pero hemos de ser más fuertes que este enemigo.
In our endurance and in our patience and in our humility.
Más fuertes que el enemigo en nuestro esfuerzo, en nuestra paciencia y en nuestra humildad.
And to face all them with our great love.
Y hacer frente a todos ellos con un gran amor.
Because here they are also souls, they are also our brothers and sisters, they are also not really enemies, but they have been overpowered by the negativity.
Porque en realidad son almas, son nuestros hermanos y hermanas, pero han sido conquistados por el poder negativo.
And after some time they will realize it, and then they will accompany you, and they will appreciate your efforts and will follow your example.
Pero después de algún tiempo ellos comprenderán, incluso van a apreciar lo que ustedes están haciendo y los van a seguir a ustedes.
So my dear, this work is very holy work, and you are really blessed to do this work.
Mis amados niños, este trabajo es un trabajo muy sagrado y son ustedes muy bendecidos al hacer este trabajo.
As Master has also told his disciples that those who will find this life, they will lose it, and those who will lose it for my sake, they will find it.
Como el Maestro dijo a sus discípulos, aquellos que ganan esta vida la perderán, y aquellos que pierden esta vida en mi nombre la ganarán.
So don't live for this world, for the body, or for the families, or for other things of this world. Only live for yourself, God, and kingdom of God.
Así no vivan para este mundo, para su cuerpo físico, para sus familias, o para cualquier cosa de este mundo, sino que vivan para Dios, para su alma y para el reino de Dios. Y para sí mismos.
And little you will lose, and what that is only poison.
Y ustedes perderán muy poco. ¿Y qué es lo que ustedes van a perder? El veneno.
And what you will find, very, very great credit in the kingdom of God from Father God.
¿Y qué es lo que van a encontrar? Un gran crédito, algo muy positivo en el reino de Dios y con Dios.
So keeping this in mind that your efforts are be fruited, and God knows, Master knows each and every moment your devotions.
Y no se les olvide a ustedes esto, que es muy importante, que sus esfuerzos son muy apreciados por Dios, por el poder maestro, y que cada momento, cada esfuerzo está siendo considerado en el reino de Dios.
It's not that I need something for me, you have to provide some clothes, some comforts, that I am to be a great king.
El maestro dice que no es que él necesita algo de ustedes, que le den ropa o que le den gloria para que sea un rey de este mundo.
The kings generally demand that all my armies should be sacrificed for me.
Generalmente los reyes de este mundo piden que todos sus ejércitos se sacrifiquen para su propia gloria.
But Master is devoted to all his disciples and all his creation, and he is like serving everybody.
Pero el maestro trabaja con mucha devoción, se sacrifica para todos sus discípulos, para toda su creación.
And if you have been selected as his instruments, his warriors, that is the highest credit that you can earn in this life.
Y si ustedes han sido escogidos, seleccionados para que sean sus guerreros, sus instrumentos, es la bendición más elevada, la más sagrada que se pueda dar a uno en este mundo.
So I am not pushing you in any direction, but I have given you this understanding that now you should rush without your strength, without your mind, without your sources, each moment for this holy cause. That your feeling, your consciousness may feel like that.
Así yo no les estoy empujando a ustedes en una dirección determinada, sino que les estoy ofreciendo un entendimiento para que ustedes corran hacia un objetivo y que su conciencia, que su corazón sienta que cada momento de ustedes debe ser dedicado a esta causa sagrada.
So this your devotion is from your heart, and when it is from your heart, then it will really be working.
Así, su devoción de ustedes debe ser del corazón, y cuando la devoción viene del corazón, entonces sí funcionará.
And again, I may say, work in all humility, in all love, and keeping the presence of Master always with you.
Y también les repito, trabajen con mucho amor, con mucha humildad, y guarden la presencia del Maestro con ustedes.
And never feel that I am doing something, I am better than the other one, I know better. No, it is nothing. You are only just a little small puppets in the hands of Master Power.
Y nunca sientan o piensen que estoy haciendo esto, estoy mejor que esta otra persona o tal otra persona. No, nunca piensen así. Ustedes son unas marionetas, unos instrumentos en las manos del poder de Dios, del poder maestro.
Nobody is better than each other.
Nadie es mejor que cualquier otra persona.
When you will have this idea, at once you will fall down.
En el momento en que ustedes tengan esta idea, van a bajar hacia abajo.
From Sant Kabir, it was after that there are so many people who are very horrible in this world.
A Santo Kabir le preguntaron, hay muchas personas que son horribles en este mundo.
Then Sant Kabir answered, more than me?
Y Santo Kabir dijo, más horribles que yo.
I don't find anybody more horrible than me.
No encuentro a ninguna otra persona más horrible que yo.
This was from his heart.
Esto venía de su corazón.
That if somebody is better, it is God and Master who is using and giving more power to somebody to be used in some better way.
Si alguien es mejor, es que el poder de Dios, el poder maestro, está utilizando a esta persona para que sea usada en alguna cosa determinada.
Today, the sun can be brought to a star, and star can be changed into a sun.
Así hoy incluso el sol se puede reducir a una estrella y una estrella se puede convertir en un sol.
How the sun of today can say that I am bigger one, I am great one?
Así como se atreve el sol de hoy día a decir que yo soy mejor que otro.
So this ego is so horrible, never feel like that I am.
Y este ego es tan horrible así, nunca sientan ustedes que yo soy algo.
So it is all God, and we have to love Father God with all our soul, with all our heart, with all our mind, and then ego will be totally annihilated.
Así todo es Dios, y hemos de amar a Dios de toda nuestra alma, de todo nuestro corazón, de toda nuestra mente, y así todo será Dios.
So in this way, try to be ideal disciples of the Master, and Master is really very much proud of his disciples, that these are his children and these are his disciples, and he can be proud of them.
Así traten de ser discípulos ideales del Maestro, y el Maestro estará orgulloso de sus discípulos, que pueda decir que yo estoy orgulloso de mis discípulos.
My Master also used to say that you are very proud of your Master.
Y el maestro del Maestro solía decir, ustedes son muy orgullosos de su Maestro.
But is there Master is also proud of any of his disciples?
Pero es que el Maestro también se siente orgulloso de cualquiera de sus discípulos.
No, pero preguntó
This
que el
is the-
maestro está orgulloso.
No se está preguntando, yo creo.
So this is the family that really the Master is pride of his children, and his children should also be pride of the Father, the Master.
Así es una familia. El padre, el maestro, es orgulloso de sus hijos y los hijos se sienten orgullosos de su padre.
And in this way we will be able to help ourselves and also all the humanity which is awaiting our help.
Y de esta manera podremos ayudarnos a sí mismos y ayudar a toda la humanidad, a toda la familia que está esperando nuestra ayuda.
So anybody who works for the Master, really the Master is looking at each moment and knows the devotion and feels in his heart.
Así cualquier persona que esté trabajando para el maestro de verdad sabe cada momento, cada esfuerzo que esta persona está haciendo para el trabajo del maestro. Y lo sabe muy bien en su corazón.
And my master also used to say that if you do my one work, I will do your 100 works.
Y mi maestro solía decir que si ustedes hacen un solo trabajo, yo haré cientos de trabajos de ustedes.
That what duty I have given you, if you do one, I will do 100 more.
Así el deber, la tarea que yo les pedí a ustedes que hicieran, si la hacen, yo haré cientos de tareas de ustedes.
That really he will help your family, help your relatives, help your jobs, and everything he will control.
Y en realidad él les ayudará a sus familias, les ayudará en su trabajo, a todas sus relaciones, y cientos de trabajos de ustedes él lo va a hacer. Están bajo su control.
So you are valued here and also valued highest in kingdom of God.
Así ustedes son valiosos, son apreciados aquí y también en el reino de Dios.
This is the attitude which you are to create, and I think this talk which I have given to you, every one of you should keep a tape of it and try to listen once daily, I think.
Esta es la actitud, el comportamiento que ustedes han de adoptar, y el maestro nos pide que esta cinta, esta cassette del satsang de hoy día, cada uno de los presentes debe guardar y escuchar una vez al día.
And also other people initiates may also listen to it,
Y también todos los demás iniciados han de escucharla también.
so that there is some awakening in your hearts, that you are not lying under the some kind of what you call intoxication of the negative powers of some poisons.
Para que haya un despertar en sus corazones y que no estén como intoxicados, pero negativamente, intoxicados y como envenenados por el poder negativo, por su ilusión.
That negative power is not to use like the pavement on the road, that negative power will put its feet on it and you may be just used for it.
Así el poder negativo no ha de usar el enclosado, el pavimento de la calle para que pueda poner sus pies y caminar sobre ello.
As the negative power uses us so horribly.
Y caminar sobre nosotros, porque el poder negativo nos está usando de forma horrible.
So we are children of God, we are to enjoy God, but when we are for God.
Somos niños de Dios y hemos de gozar de Dios, pero solo cuando somos para Dios.
And when we are for Him, He is for us.
Y cuando somos para Dios, entonces Él también es para nosotros.
So let us now change this era, that we bring light and life in this world, which is needed very much.
Así cambiemos ahora esta era, esta época, para traer la vida y la luz en este mundo, porque se necesita mucho.
And this world is no more a valley of death, and no more evil is ruling with sufferings.
Para que este mundo no sea nunca más la valle de la muerte, y para que el mal, para que el negativo no gobierne con sufrimiento.
It is only our weakness that we have not been able to bring God and the kingdom of God in this world.
Es únicamente nuestra debilidad que nos impidió que trajéramos a Dios y a su reino en este mundo.
Otherwise, it has been given to you that you may have it, and God, kingdom of God, and then spread it in all over the world.
De otra manera, a ustedes se les dio esto para que puedan traer a Dios y a su reino en este mundo y que lo difundan.
That there is God and the kingdom of God in this world.
Porque hay Dios y existe el reino de Dios en este mundo.
But you are keeping it just confined.
Pero ustedes lo están confinando.
And just shine like the sun. When the clouds are away, the sun is available.
Brillen como el sol y cuando desaparecen las nubes, el sol está ahí.
So God is there and kingdom of God is there, but you are only to work for it.
Dios está aquí, el reino de Dios está aquí, pero ustedes han de trabajar para él.
It is very simple and very much easily understandable, but we are to just come up and have a little courage. Nothing will happen. I am for God and God is for me and my life is only for this purpose.
Es muy sencillo y lo podemos comprender muy sencillamente, que yo soy para Dios, Dios es para mí, y hemos de tener este coraje para decir en nuestros corazones que yo soy para Dios, Dios para mí, y todo lo bueno va a ocurrir.
As these warriors of the military jump into forefront, what will happen?
Como el ejemplo de los guerreros que saltan en el frente de la batalla, y qué es lo que va a ocurrir.
But you will be conquerors. There will never be any chance that you will be conquered over.
Pero ustedes serán los conquistadores. No habrá ningún caso en que ustedes serán conquistados.
Because all powers of God are there with you.
Porque todos los poderes de Dios están con ustedes.
And He will do everything with you with your one hand or two hands. He will provide millions of hands.
Y Él a través de ustedes lo hará todo. Con una mano o con dos manos, Él proveerá cientos de manos.
And in a few, little time you will be able to see also the golden era with God only available in this world.
Y en muy poco tiempo verán ustedes la edad de oro con Dios muy prominente, solamente Dios prominente en este mundo.
And now those devils who are ruling and evil who is ruling will be our slaves.
Y así todo el mal, todos los diablos que están ahora gobernando serán nuestros esclavos.
That is the proper arrangement which has been already made by God.
Como es el arreglo adecuado que ya ha sido hecho por Dios.
So I think this is sufficient for you, but I was to say.
Y el maestro piensa que esto ya es suficiente para nosotros, pero tenía que decirlo.
Is there anything else?
I have some questions.
And also, Pastor,
The people who have not the papers may come to us to sign it.
no, we'll come to you, and then we can give you the paper. Or unless if you have someone in question that you want the master to speak with.
No, well, afterwards. I'm going to tell them that after the satsang they can come to me and I give the paper so they put their names.
But Master was going to see maybe in this corner over here, Dr. Rios and Spencer, and then Spencer and Chris. Is that okay?
Now one thing, little more elaboration to what I have already told. What I have already told is sufficient otherwise. There had been missionaries working quite nicely, wonderfully, but still not really which I want. But still, this can be told quite successful.
Y lo que el maestro acaba de decir es suficiente, pero quisiera elaborar un poco más en este tema. Hasta ahora ha habido muchos misioneros que estaban trabajando muy bien, pero que había otros, pero no suficientemente como él quisiera que ellos trabajaran.
And others were a little weak and not so much attending to this holy duty.
Pero había otros misioneros que eran un poco débiles y no justificaban esta tarea apropiadamente.
But some might be feeling like that I'm incapable and that my worldly situations are very much hard and I may leave this work.
Y algunos a lo mejor piensen que yo no soy capaz de hacer este trabajo misional y que mi situación mundana es muy dura y que no podría seguir haciendo este trabajo
But
misional.
it is only your mind, weakness of the mind.
Pero es únicamente la mente, es solamente la debilidad de su mente que le da este pensamiento.
But our consciousness will curse us.
Pero si pensamos así, nuestra conciencia nos maldecirá.
So I expect all of you are well prepared and with much more enthusiasm than the past. You should try to work now.
Y el maestro espera que todos nosotros seamos mejor preparados y con mucho más entusiasmo que en el pasado.
And what are your difficulties and problems I have discussed already in this talk.
Y lo que serían sus dificultades o problemas, el maestro ya lo ha tratado en esta charla.
And that how you can be successful and wow, you will be really feeling like working. That also I have told you.
Y cómo han de ser ustedes exitosos y cómo han de trabajar, todo esto el maestro lo aclaró en esta charla.
Further, Veronica is here, and that she will be able to help you as my representative.
A partir de ahora, Verónica va a darles más lineamientos y podrá ayudarlos a todos ustedes como la representante del maestro.
And sometimes you can also contact me, but especially maybe only for spiritual purposes, because I am so much busy that I cannot deal all these management, administrative side.
Y en algunos casos ustedes pueden contactar al maestro, pero solamente para asuntos espirituales, porque el maestro tiene mucho trabajo y no tiene de verdad tiempo. De otro modo, para cuestiones administrativas hay que trabajarlo con Verónica.
And Master is always with you.
Y el maestro está siempre con ustedes.
That what was the purpose of my meditations was there to weaken the barriers of the negative power, and I am more and more available to you in your hearts.
Y el maestro está siempre con ustedes. Y el único propósito de las meditaciones del maestro fue para debilitar las barreras del poder negativo, para que todos los poderes de Dios y del maestro estén más en sus corazones.
Because Master knows that without his help you cannot do anything.
Porque el maestro sabe que sin su ayuda ustedes no pueden hacer nada.
And all of you need each moment his encouragement also.
Y todos ustedes necesitan el ánimo del maestro en cada momento.
Otherwise the back-pulling force of negative power is working very strongly.
De otro modo, las fuerzas del poder negativo que nos tiran del otro lado trabajan muy fuertemente.
And that is why very few people are coming up forward for working as missionaries.
Y es por esto que hay muy poca gente que se está ofreciendo para trabajar como misioneros.
But what I want that all the initiates should be my representatives, my missionaries.
Y lo que el maestro quiere es que todos los iniciados se ofrezcan como misioneros, como los representantes del maestro.
And it will work as little time is there, that when these barriers or back-pulling force of negative power is no more, you will be just jumping in the family of God and only for God.
Y esto sucederá en muy poco tiempo. Cuando estas barreras del poder negativo habrán desaparecido, ustedes saltarán en Dios y todo será Dios y reino de Dios.
And then all the people, the hearts of all the people will be awakened and enlightened in Him.
Y los corazones de toda la gente, de todas las personas, serán despertadas e iluminadas en Él.
However, as yet, as many as you are, try to go along with much more enthusiasm.
Sin embargo, lo pocos que somos ahora, hemos de seguir trabajando y con mucho mayor entusiasmo.
So all these problems and hindrances I am going through, I know all these, and these are being handled also.
Y todos los problemas y obstáculos que existen, el maestro los conoce a todos y él los está manejando apropiadamente.
Okay.
Michelle, ¿nos podría hablar sobre los niños misioneros de la India?
They can ask and
Sí.
¿Nos podría hablar sobre los niños
Yeah,
misioneros de la
Master,
India?
our sister is asking if you can tell some words about the missionary children in India.
Mission children, they are yet under preparation.
Los niños misioneros están siendo preparados todavía.
That so many are there who are conducting satsangs,
Hay muchos de ellos que están dando satsangs,
but they have not yet been given any authority to initiate.
pero no se les dio de momento ninguna autoridad para iniciar.
Because initiation is some delicate subject, and age subject is also there in it.
Porque la iniciación es un tema muy delicado y el factor de la edad es algo muy importante también en este aspecto.
In these countries also it is the case, but in India especially, that till a person has not got gray hair, one is not considered anything.
En estos países también se toma esto en consideración, pero en la India, hasta que la persona no tenga unos canas, entonces se considera que no
tiene valor.
no tiene valor o conocimiento.
But they are coming up to be wonderful children of God.
Pero están desarrollándose y van a ser niños maravillosos de Dios.
And maybe in a later time, 1 year or 2 years, they will be wonderful, as it is told, perfect ones.
Y quizás en 1 año o 2 años serán seres maravillosos, lo que se puede decir serán perfectos.
And the future of the world is on their shoulders.
Y el futuro del mundo reposará en sus hombros.
That is really wonderful thing. It is under preparation.
Y esto es algo maravilloso que se está preparando.
I tried it in other countries also, but it could not work.
El maestro intentó llevar a cabo esto en otros países, pero no pudo funcionar.
So there are now 700 children.
Hay ahora 700 niños.
Further also, I have told the people to go on receiving more children, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000.
Y a partir de ahora el maestro está pidiendo a la gente en la India de recibir a más niños hasta llegar a 1,000 o 2,000 niños.
Because they really be then open sons of God to convey light to all those who are sitting yet in darkness.
Porque serán los soles de Dios que darán la luz a todos los que están sufriendo en la oscuridad.
Yes, please.
Y, Miguel Ángel, ¿alguien quería poner una pregunta? Sí, por favor.
Que yo vengo de Perú y entonces deseo servir como misionera.
Master, our sister comes from Peru in South America and she would like to work como as missionary.
Welcome, but try to first little work hard, and that you are little suitable for this purpose.
El maestro dice que usted es la bienvenida, pero trate primero de trabajar para que esté mejor preparada para este servicio.
Sí, maestro, yo estuve trabajando como misionero hasta antes de que él estuviera enfermo y quisiera me permitiera continuar con el trabajo misional.
Salvador is saying that he was working as missionary before your sickness, master, and he's asking if he can keep working as missionary.
Yes, you can start with now, but those requirements which are there, you may try to fulfill.
Puedes seguir, pero tienes que seguirlos, respetar los requisitos.
Yo soy de Monterrey, Nuevo León, y quisiera humildemente pedir que me permitieran ser misionero, si es posible.
Our brother comes from the city of Monterrey here in Mexico, and he's humbly asking if he can work as missionary.
All the initiates, I have told that I want that they should work missionary, but they should little understand their great work and should also prepare a little for that. It is not ordinary work.
Como el maestro dijo, todos los iniciados, él quisiera que todos los iniciados trabajen como misioneros, pero han de entender este trabajo y han de prepararse porque es algo muy delicado. Reina.
Varias veces, muchas veces he tocado la puerta para que me permitan servirte de esa manera. Ahora lo vuelvo a hacer.
She's asking, she's saying she's knocking the door again to be, if she can work as missionary. She asked in the past and she's asking now again.
What is the difficulty now?
¿Y cuál es la dificultad?
Pues Verónica me dice que no le respondes.
Yes, I have to talk to her, but Master did not answer.
About her?
Okay, we will talk about her. We will tell you if there's any difficulty or shortcoming, we tell you, you may make up that.
Él va a discutir, él va a hablar con Verónica y si hay algo que se pueda corregir, se lo va a decir. Carlos.
Master, de hecho yo estoy, gracias, estar dentro del trabajo nacional, pero sí medito diario, pero la verdad yo tengo muchos problemas para meditar de tipo personal. No sé si a mis cuestiones kármicas, pero yo sí quisiera si hubiera la posibilidad de que me ayudara
en la meditación,
en mis meditaciones, porque tengo muchos problemas para meditar. Pero
he's already missionary, but he's meditating, but he's having problems in his meditation, and he's asking if you could help him in his meditation.
I think I will give help today at some time. Is there some special time? Or during after satsang, during the initiation can be.
Michelle.
But you may be careful, otherwise everybody will ask for help. These such like special cases you may feel, you may know, and then we may look at also that people who come for help, only those people who have nothing to see or nothing to hear, totally nothing is there, only they should come.
El maestro dice que va a dar ayuda durante la iniciación hoy, pero solo para casos muy especiales, como por ejemplo misioneros o gente que tiene de verdad dificultades muy grandes, que no ve nada o que no oye nada.
Otherwise there is a general help to all the people who are in my presence.
Pero el maestro dice que hay una ayuda general a todo el mundo que está en la presencia del maestro.
The morning 3-hour meditation is there, 3-4 meditation hours, and in the evening also we can keep on meditating for 10 or 11.
Así por la mañana estamos meditando 2-3 horas y por la noche podemos seguir meditando hasta las 11 si queremos.
Conozco un iniciado que vino, oye demasiado del lado izquierdo y ya tiene meses, entonces quiere que también se le ayude.
She knows an initiate who is having troubles with his hearing blood from the left side, and she's asking if it could be helped.
It is generally helped if special help is very much left side sound is strong, then I will ask to help. But general system is that one should keep the plug, rubber plug on the right side if it is troubling all the time.
Sí, el maestro podría ayudarlo, pero generalmente si el sonido izquierdo es muy fuerte, entonces la persona debe tapar siempre el oído
pero
derecho.
aún así.
But work upon this patiently, because all these things are due to some reason, that when there is some hard karma which is strong upon us, then only the left side sound is there.
Pero ustedes deben trabajar pacientemente en ello, porque todo tiene su razón. Hay una razón por la existencia de este sonido izquierdo. Es un karma muy duro que está siendo pagado.
Until this hard karma is not solved, it will not go.
Y hasta que este karma duro no se desaparezca, este sonido va a permanecer un poco.
It may be gone very quickly, it may maintain even for months or years.
Podría desaparecer muy deprisa o podría permanecer durante meses incluso.
Because it's not without a cause, there is something under it.
Porque hay una razón, no es algo que no tiene causa, hay una causa para ello.
Una pregunta nada más. Cuando yo trabajé como misionero en ocasión anterior, solicitaron la iniciación un señor y la señora. Pero resulta que él es casado con una iniciada, pero tiene otra señora que es la que se iba a iniciar con él. Yo no dudé en pasarle las instrucciones, no sé si hice bien o algo así. Es como una especie de guía a cómo actuar, ¿verdad? ¿Sí se entendió? Sí, pero la que se iba a iniciar, se iniciaron el mismo día, fue él y la segunda.
No la esposa legal.
La esposa legal ya era iniciada desde hace tiempo.
When he used to work as missionary master, a case came to him that one man came to and asked for initiation, and he was having like 2 wives, one legal wife who was already initiated, and another one who came and asked for the initiation and what to do in a case like that. He gave the initiation to her also. Is it okay?
I think there are some special cases for which instructions are not there. I think the instructions are covering such like cases. But for this, I think it is simple. That main thing is their dietary discipline. And if one is feeling like meditating after having initiated, then I think other things can be given some leniency.
El maestro dice que hay casos especiales, no existen instrucciones para todos los casos especiales, pero lo más importante es la dieta vegetariana. Si la persona acepta seguir la dieta vegetariana y acepta meditar las 3 horas diarias, entonces se puede dar la iniciación.
Pero cuando piden iniciación dicen sí, vamos a hacer todo.
Indulgencia. El maestro es indulgente en este respecto y si se respetan esas dos requisitos fundamentales, entonces la iniciación se da.
Pero muchas veces cuando piden la iniciación dicen que van a cumplir todo, ¿verdad?
Sí,
aun cuando después no cumplan, en algunos casos.
Yeah, he's asking that at the time of initiation they may say yes for the requirements, but then after the initiation they may not respect.
It is not their responsibility.
No es tu responsabilidad. Marta.
Quisiera decirle eso que el problema es, yo quiero incrementar mi tiempo de meditación. O sea, mi problema es que no puedo llegar a hacer todo el tiempo que se puede. Que si eso también hay ayuda, se puede dar ayuda.
Her problem is that she would like to increase her meditation time. She's not able now to meditate the 6 hours, and she's asking for your help so that she may be able to do the 6 hours.
I think especially you may try to use the night times. Night time.
Trata de meditar sobre todo en la noche, durante la noche.
That stay awake when you go to bed for 1 hour or 2 hours before going to sleep. Because that when we sleep, it is not really required. What is required sleep, that is only 2 hours or 3 hours. That will be sufficient.
Cuando usted vaya a acostarse, entonces no duerma, medite durante 1 hora o 2 horas, porque en realidad el sueño no necesitamos dormir, no se necesita dormir. A lo mejor podemos dormir 2 o 3 horas, pero no más.
I have seen over in Europe, I was there about 19 days, and the people were meditating all the night daily.
El maestro estuvo ahora en Europa, hubo un retiro para iniciados durante 20 días y la gente estaba meditando durante todo el día y durante toda la noche. Diariamente.
They may be taking rest for 1 or 2 hours at some time, but they could increase very much their meditation time, and sleeping time was decreased.
Así a lo mejor se acostaban por 1 o 2 horas, no más, y disminuyeron muchísimo el tiempo del sueño, no más de 2 o 1 hora o 2 horas.
Dije que en lugares como el Manakenda puedo, incluso hacemos retiros semanales en Tepoztlán y podemos meditar toda la noche, pero en mi casa tengo mucho problema. Que sí, no sé si...
Yeah, she's saying, Master, that in the Manaf Kendra or in specific places where they have retreats, it's easy for her to meditate. But in her house, she's having so many troubles and problems that it's hard for her to
wake up, to stay up in the night.
You see, when she will be strong, more strong, then she will be able to control
in her
all
house.
that. When she is too weak, then the nectar power is more controlling.
Cuando seas más fuerte, podrás hacer frente a todos estos problemas y podrás meditar, pero cuando no somos muy fuertes, entonces la negatividad nos controla.
Regularmente en la meditación en luz no me duermo, entonces prácticamente estoy meditando el tiempo requerido en puros sonidos. Si hay algún problema.
He's saying that during the light meditation he very quickly fall asleep, but he's putting all his time, almost more than 6 hours meditating on sound, and he's asking for some help in this respect.
That is okay. What he is doing, that's
It's
all
okay.
right.
Lo que estás haciendo está bien.
Because meditation on sound is very much powerful, and it will release him of the burden of karma, and then he will be able to meditate on light also awaken.
Porque la meditación en el sonido es muy poderosa y va a eliminar, va a quemar el karma y podrás eventualmente meditar en la luz.
Okay.
He has a question.
Yes.
Maestro, en Chile tu misión está muy reducida. Necesitamos urgentemente un poco de ayuda en forma de misionero y de cooperación personal, si es posible.
She comes from Chile in South America, and she's saying, Master, that your holy mission in Chile is very much reduced. It's not really working. And she's asking if it is possible for missionary help, if some missionaries would go there to help her in this respect.
But you are there.
Pero estás,
You are strong.
pero estás viviendo allí y eres muy fuerte.
No sé si seré fuerte, no me siento fuerte.
This is sufficient for me.
Y esto es suficiente para él.
If even one person is there strong, it is okay.
Incluso si hubiera una sola persona fuerte, esto es suficiente en un país.
So we will arrange as far as possible to send some missionaries. But you may try to do work over there.
Dice el maestro, haremos los arreglos necesarios en cuanto se pueda para enviar misioneros, pero usted tiene que trabajar ahí.
We'll take care of this.
When she was here at the missionary conference, and we talked, and we decided to keep the missionaries in the more receptive areas. And she, as you gave the same answer we did, that she should be more strong and independent, and that we felt the missionaries should stay in the receptive areas now, and not try and tackle this hard new country. That's what we felt. But maybe some things can change now if we have more missionaries.
When we have more missionaries, we will send over
Yes.
there.
Sí, dice el maestro que cuando tengamos más misioneros, los enviaremos allí.
But in the long run, we are to arrange that missionaries are working from the same country.
Pero para a la larga, lo que tiene que arreglarse es que los misioneros nacionales de cada país trabajen en su propio país.
Nosotros somos 4 personas.
Va a haber.
So Master started as one.
The
Master
progress
started
is there, it was one, now 4 have. There
Dice
are
el maestro que hay progreso. Antes había una persona, ahora son 4 ustedes.
Porque inició el maestro, fueron más de 100.
Pero 4 se reúnen en el satsang.
No, pero de esos 4, a veces asiste 1 y a veces asisten 2. Y cuando estamos muy ricos, entonces asisten 4.
Yeah, she's telling about the satsang, Master, that usually there are 2 or 3 persons only, and sometimes 4. But there are many initiates when we went there in 88.
Michelle, Master started as one. Now look at all. We started, and when he came to the U.S., there was no one. It just takes one strong person. Tell her to stand on her feet.
Johnny está diciendo que cuando el maestro empezó su misión era solo una persona. Y miren ahora cómo está la misión en el mundo. En los Estados Unidos una sola persona empezó la misión. Por eso usted tiene que ser muy fuerte y empezar la misión en Chile. Y Johnny piensa, y el maestro dijo que usted es fuerte.
Con eso sencillamente dice,
I'm sorry.
Si el maestro dice que yo soy fuerte, le agradezco mucho porque voy a tratar de explotar eso mucho más que antes. Pero yo tengo 2 años más que él y las neuronas aquí arriba a veces están muy flacas.
She's strong, she's willing to work, but she has 2 more years. She's older, 2 years than you, and she's worried that maybe her physical health, her brain is not working properly.
No, don't worry about it.
No te preocupes por las neuronas.
I'm getting younger and you are also getting younger.
El maestro está rejuveneciendo y usted también está rejuveneciendo.
Gracias, maestro.
An initiate is never to be weak and never to be old.
Un iniciado nunca tiene que ser débil y nunca tiene que ser viejo.
One may go up to 100 years or 200 years of age, doesn't matter.
Incluso si uno llega a tener 100 años o 200 años, esto no importa.
Your heart should be strong.
Tengo un ejemplo aquí.
Tu corazón debe ser fuerte. And she's saying she has an example in Joseph.
So we are taking care of whole of the world, not to neglect Chile or any other country. May they be hard, but we are to take care of all of them.
El maestro dice que estamos ocupándonos y atendiendo a todo el mundo. No es que vamos a hacer un lado a Chile, pero vamos a ocuparnos de todos los países del mundo.
And I am trying to arrange that these children who are these 700 missionary children, some of these may be taught some foreign languages so that they can be sent in other countries.
Y el maestro dice que los 700 niños de la meditación, a lo mejor algunos de ellos se les podrá enseñar algunos idiomas extranjeros y se les enviarán en algunos países.
Nosotros nos encargamos de enseñarles el idioma.
She's willing to teach them the Spanish.
No, we will teach them over there.
El maestro dice que se les enseñará en el país, cuando estén en el país.
They will come well prepared.
En la India.
Ya van a venir
Y ya vendrán preparados.
I wished to become a missionary since 1990 when you told us the need of missionary because so those who can travel can make the mission with his neighbors and friends. And Veronica told me I need to stay here 40 days in the mountain, and I make it stronger. I'm not very old. I've been 76 years old in July 19 this year. So I wish to live with all my soul.
My dear, this is also very important that if someone is meditating, that is also very good work that it will benefit all the world.
La pregunta del hermano es si quería ser misionero y el maestro dice que cuando uno está meditando, esto en sí es una gran ayuda para todo el mundo.
But if you can travel, that is good. But your age is 76. Perhaps it may be hard for you to travel. But we will try to consider your case that you can work as missionary also in addition to your meditation.
¿Comprende la respuesta del maestro?
We want missionaries, and if you can work, we will try to give you this permission. Huh? Yes. Then only missionary is a successful missionary without initiation. It is half to that. Is trembling?
Trembling from old age.
That you may see if he also feels fit for that or not.
So I just say that that when we were in India, one of the main things Master requested of us is that we give at least 2 information satsangs before giving the initiation. Normally we were giving 1, but because the burdens for Master, we should give 2. And at the end of the second one, it should be 45 minutes, about 45 minutes.
Sí, John está diciendo que cuando estuvieron en la India hace 2 o 3 meses, algunos trabajadores, el maestro dio nuevos lineamientos y el más importante es que hay que dar 2 satsangs, que cada satsang dure por lo menos 45 minutos antes de poder dar la iniciación. O sea que los buscadores tienen que asistir a 2 satsangs completos antes de que se les dé la iniciación para ayudar al maestro en la carga que está tomando de las iniciaciones. Sí, se puede dar la iniciación. Después del segundo satsang, se puede dar la
And all
iniciación.
these details will come in this handbook, God willing. It should be by Los Angeles, but it should be finished.
Y todos estos detalles estarán incluidos en el nuevo manual para misioneros que será a la disposición de ustedes muy pronto, dentro de muy pocos días.
Quizás en Los Ángeles.
In 2 weeks it should be.
En 2 semanas.
Perdón.
Mis meditaciones están muy áridas y por eso creo que tengo poco progreso. Necesito, no sé qué remedio para poder subsanar eso.
Yeah, she's asking about her meditations, Master. She's saying that her meditations are very dry, and maybe this is the reason why she's not progressing. She feels.
She should go on meditating, and the time she's told 5 hours, 6 hours, and everything will be there.
Siga meditando el tiempo que se nos pide meditar, 5 o 6 horas, y todo se va a arreglar en las meditaciones mismas.
Okay now. Panama.
Panama. Yeah, he's from Panama, yes. ¿Tiene una pregunta?
Michelle, tal vez para...
Momento, está hablando
Manuel.
Yo quiero saber, yo desearía ser misionero. En parte yo creo que soy misionero porque yo hablo todos los días y todas las cosas de la misión. Pero lo que quiero es saber si el maestro...
Master wants to, this is the last question, okay?
Esta es la última pregunta.
And where do you want to It's better. And then Chris and Spencer and Dr. Rios then come back with Master. He'll meet with you at his house. Okay?
Sí, le voy a traducir la pregunta.
Sí, no, lo que quiero decir, me parece que debo serlo, yo lo haría. Y no, pues yo de todas maneras lo sé.
The last question.
And short.
Yeah. Master, he's from Panama, and he would like to become missionary. He says he feels in his heart he's missionary since he's talking to the people about this holy cause.
Yes.
And he's asking if he can be given the authorization to work as missionary.
How long you can meditate?
¿Cuántas horas puede usted meditar?
Because there is about a condition of 5, 6 hours, 6 hours.
Porque uno de los requisitos es meditar 6 horas al día.
This is the most hard condition.
Es el requisito más duro, piensa el maestro.
Yo creo que puedo hacerlo.
He thinks he can do it.
Okay, then you're welcome.
Entonces, el maestro te da la bienvenida.
We need so many missionaries in Panama.
And they're coming up more. Now, anyone who wants to be a missionary, okay, what you should do is speak with Veronica, and she will make the arrangements for you to meet with Master if it's necessary. Okay?
Todos los hermanos que deseen ser misioneros, por favor, hablen con Verónica y ella preguntará al maestro sobre cada caso.
Okay, my dear. Thank you. You are my good children. I love you all.
When I was initiated in 1977, I had to wait 8 months before I was initiated, and we had to fill in a form, a long form, and then we had to give our life history, our spiritual life history and our worldly life history, and I thought for sure I was going to get a big red, you know, and then I guess it was on several tours back, Master, in the Far East, where he got the idea to do these spontaneous initiations, and you know that he's broken the law with the negative power, and he's in big trouble because he's allowing these initiations. No other master would do this, but our master has such a heart. So needless to say, his burden of karmas is very hard, and that's why he's had to say now that we should give 2 satsangs, because we'll get quality and the proper quantity. Instead of quantity and no quality, then there'll be more quality. He said the people will really be prepared, and there's some, even though we're nothing, there is purification in the satsangs that come. So the dear ones would be, that are coming to these programs need to have 45 minutes each night of this purification through the missionary. Also, when Master was Canada, he did give guidelines for those who are just, like if you have a friend or something, that yes, but you have to spend 2 hours with that friend, and and you have to give them satsang for their purification. And
You really have to understand the theory of the path. So there is a missionary agreement form here. And before Master comes out, I want to go over these technical details with you so we don't, have to waste too much of his time. First of all, can we have a show of hands who are interested in becoming authorized missionaries to convey the initiation for the Master? Okay. Now, to tell you too, my darlings, that the first requirement is you have to be initiated 1 year. This is a must, just because of inner purification and because of theoretical knowledge. But that does not mean that you can't give a talk tomorrow, but have an authorized missionary with you to convey the initiation. So those who want to be authorized missionaries who have not been initiated for a year, don't worry, because you can do all of the work. You can book the hall, you can book the park, you can do the posters, you can do the free publicity, you can do a paid ad, you can do all of that. You can give the satsang, and then when it comes time after the second satsang, you can either tell the people that there'll be initiation the following day, which is a little dangerous because the mind usually wants to run away, or you can have a missionary with you who can convey the initiation. So we don't want to discourage any of you who raised your hands who want to be authorized missionaries. All of us can do the work. It's just the holy initiation has got to be by an authorized missionary has been meditating and who has been initiated for 1 year. So my dear sister and brother are so anxious to start. I know they can start. That's not a problem. Just we will have to coordinate with headquarters who's the missionary in your area and just make sure that person is there to convey the initiation. And actually, a lot of us have been working in this way. I know Kurt and Gail have been working with some of the musicians who were not authorized, who did some music, and then they gave the initiation. Okay, is there any questions about that? Okay, your form. I don't know what happened. Can we blame the mail? No. Can we blame me? Yeah. What happened was, when I got called to India, we put the forms in a pile, and evidently they didn't all make it there. And I have forms that are already filled in. Master redesigned the missionary authorization form from him, where he added a few things. So don't worry if you don't have your form. We have paper here. I was going to ask Gail if she could get your names, and some of you, I have forms inside, and some I'll just go ahead and make up while we're here. So don't worry about that. Master is even allowing, in his good heart, here he comes. Yes. Oh, Master, we're going to take you the other way. We were going to bring you from the other way.
Okay, I can make the way. Some new ways.
I'm sorry. Is it okay that we started? We were just going over some technical things.
I was eager to hear.
Oh, Master.
Yes.
I thought we would be boring him. No. Where were we? About the forms. Okay, so if you don't have your form, don't worry about it. If you can give your name to Gail Young, and then we'll make sure that you get your forms before you leave. If you're leaving before Master leaves, like if you're leaving tomorrow or the next day, and you need to see us, for something concerning the missionary work, or something concerning your personal life that would affect the missionary work, then you have to make sure that you see Master either this afternoon or tomorrow. Okay, but we have to be able to communicate with you before you go. It's really, really important. And there's some specific people that I have a list of when we're done with these technical things that Master needs to see, God willing, this afternoon. Otherwise, it would be tomorrow. Okay, so what we'd like to do now is quickly go over these agreement form. And Master said it's okay to agree verbally. You don't have to sign it. All right, so when you speak to Gail, the new dear ones who wanted to become new missionaries, if you can go ahead, she can indicate on there whether it's verbal or written if you agree. But these things are quite important because, as we were explaining before, it's not us that takes the burden. we're just the rock that the God power works through. It's the Master who takes the burden. And although he is giving this gift of initiation freely, we do have to be careful and take it as something very sacred. So the Master asked that the missionaries meditate at least 6 hours daily. If you have problems with this, you can see me. He doesn't really like to make exceptions, but sometimes it can be allowed in very severe cases. And of course, Master, I was telling the dear ones, they want to know why we have to go over these things, but we did have some problems with some people working in the name of the Master, and they were pretty serious, And it's not all like that. We have 125 missionaries, and it only happened a few times, but we do have to be careful. And we're, of course, to strictly follow the vegetarian diet, and this means not to eat any meat, fish, fowl, eggs, or byproducts, and to maintain the spiritual diary as best as we can, and to keep the Simran. And a very important part is to study the theory of the path. And the Master's recommending especially the theoretical aspect of the path, like karma and reincarnation. A lot of people are aware of these things today, and they really want to know. And in the satsangs, we can be speaking of these things. The God power speaks freely, but our intellect also has to know what these things are. So there's a list. I think there's about 5 books that are recommended by Master. Also, when we have extra time, we should see the videos of this tour. In Germany, or in France, Master gave some really poignant, revealing satsangs, especially for the initiates, the dear ones. For us as his workers. And it would be good to also watch these videos. It'll help very much. Okay, and so then we have, now this is happening even now, that I'm sorry to say that some of the missionaries in their libraries, they still have books, God forgive me, but of other so-called masters, and they have like New Age, like healing books and things like this. And Master, when he goes into the homes of the dear ones, he says, why do they have these books? And I said, I don't know, Master. And it's missionaries, generally, that we stay, if we can stay in people's homes. So, if you would please be willing to go back home and take these to a yard sale or something, and only have our Master's books there, it'll make things less complicated and confusing, because we can really only serve one Master. And we really have to thoroughly absorb in every cell and particle of us if we want to be his missionaries, because if we're a missionary for him, we're him. We are representing him. And when we put those advertisements out there, some people come and they go, well, where's the Master? Where's the Master? And we say, well, the Master's not physically here, but his presence is here and his heart is here. And, there have been stories where some people have come to see Master on tours, and they haven't gotten initiated, and they've come to the missionary talks, and they have gotten initiated. And this is all as per destiny. But so we have to be real careful about how we're living our lives. And also, Master recommends, no newspapers, no television. And I know it sounds hard to those, especially who are working in the world, and you're so saturated with this atmosphere and these vibrations. But through the holy meditations, especially the 6 hours, you'll find more and more that all these things will be replaced with godly, clean and pure things. And Kurt and Gail are always here also to help you in this way, to readjust your lifestyle. No, that's fine. Sankar Singh and Baba Sawan Singh are all in the same family. Yeah, the Bible and the Adi Granth is fine. Master means like, what does Master mean? No. Oh, Master, please. Yeah. It's just, and we're not saying that Master's not saying I'm better and I'm greater than anybody else. It's just, it's just really trying to serve, you're trying to serve only one purpose, and we're trying to if we try to allow other things in, it just confuses things, And to become a missionary, like I said, it's a very sacred thing and very great blessing. So we want to go down the straight and narrow path and not be diverted by all these things, because these New Age things really, honestly, are controlled by the negative power. And if we get caught up in these, it's to no avail to help his mission. Okay, so there's that, and then and then of course, not spiritual or psychic healing or rebirthing tarot cards or laying on of your hands or anything like that, of course, and not to take intoxicating liquors or drugs, and to give up smoking. Now, this is something on the missionary agreement form, to promise that the souls receiving holy initiation understand the theory, and that they themselves have made a sincere commitment to meditate 3 hours daily, to be vegetarian, and then et cetera, because that's what we're doing when we're speaking for Master, is that we're, bringing the souls to Him, who some are marked and some maybe aren't marked, and we've made a commitment to Master that, Master, we've done what you've asked us to do, and here's the burden of their karmas. And then, He suffers those burdens, but this is His job also. And He really means it when He says He wants us to initiate the whole world. And for me, in my own heart, I'm really excited about the missionary work, but not to take away from our Mon of Kendra. We don't want our Mon of Kendra Sevadars to go, oh, I want to be a missionary, because we need also Sevadars for this Mon of Kendra. Also very much. It's developed a lot, but we need more Sevadars, okay? Now, we were talking about the traveling missionaries, and this is something that takes a commitment of leaving like a personal lifestyle and really going into a commitment that is for all of the United States, or all of humanity in this United States. And Gail and I were speaking, and we had felt that really the missionaries who had been actively working for at least a year, maybe 2 years, should be the ones to be allowed to try this, because it's really not so much of a trial, because unless if you have a home that you're living in that someone else could live in while you give it a try. But it's really something that is a change of a lifestyle. Peter and Maria had done this the last 4 or 5 months or so, and they're ready and willing and able. Plus, we've worked closely enough with them that we know that they'll do their receipts properly and stuff. This is something very, very necessary. And their hearts are simple. So what we've done was we've asked them if they would come to headquarters. It's probably going to be the end of August or beginning of September, to do a 10-day to 2-week intensive training on the job, hands-on training of missionary work with Kurt and Gail. And we're hoping that you'll be able to come at that time, and you'll be given practical experience from booking the hall or wherever the talk will be, or at the print shop. Master suggested we should use our print shop because it's a good area, to designing and working on the poster, and how to contact the media, because this is important. We do, since we're not for profit corporation, we can get free articles, and Master wants us to work as simply as we can. 3 changes of clothing and on a very small budget, and just to be as simple as we can. And so you'll be given this practical experience, and you'll be taught how to speak. Only God can make us speak, but we can all speak. There's, like I felt in my heart this morning, and Master has told us that, and what happened with Vivekananda is that we sit, we pray to him before the satsang and say, Master, these are your children, this is your work, you have to do this, you have to do this, and he does. Such a love and such a grace comes, and then people feel this sincerity in your heart. Someone else had asked, yes, we have had problems with born-again Christians, we've had problems with people doing black magic and this and that, but if you're meditating 6 hours and you have the conviction in your heart and soul about this holy path, nothing can shake it, even though it can be very hard. But God power always makes the arrangement. When we were in Arizona, we could feel the vibrations about 4 hours ahead of time. They were horrible, horrible depression, crying for no reason, wanting to run away, but you're stuck, you're committed. And this only happened once or twice, I should tell you, out of maybe 200 talks. And what happened was there was about 15 born-again Christians planted in the audience. And when we started the talk, they started talking about, well, Jesus Christ is the only way, and someone else raised their hand and said, you're from the devil and all this stuff. And then we just said, you were invited as our guests. If you don't like it, then you can leave, you know. And the other people were telling them, we want to listen, we want to listen. Well, they did take initiation, those 15 people, and one woman said she was arguing about the diet, and we said, I'm sorry, you know, but you really have to be vegetarian. And then she decided to take it. And did you know, I think there were about 30 people additionally being initiated, or 25, and most of those 25 saw Lord Christ inside, and maybe 10 of them spoke with Lord Christ inside. Of course, this wouldn't happen at any ordinary satsang, you know. But this really affected the people, and then in our hearts, I mean, God is on our side, you know, and it really showed that that Master will never leave us or forsake us, not even at the end of the world, and He never leaves us. We feel closer to Him inside, sometimes even in His physical presence. We know this, and that this Master power is all prevailing, and if you do an ounce of God's work, He'll do tons and tons of work for you. And those of you who have done public talks, there's many of you, you can tell your sisters and brothers this. It's true. It's true, it's true, it's true. Sometimes there can be small blockages, but they don't last. They'll come and they'll hit you, and then you go, oh my God, but then it goes away. It goes away. So, okay, so there's that. And also, some of you who have different ways of working, that's okay. You can give a formal talk announcing that they're meditation on holy light and sound, representatives of the Master Sant Thakar Singh, and we have a picture of him, will be offering a spiritual discourse and holy meditation. Usually we do all the posters at Kinderhook, so everything is uniform. But if you need something special, like Marilyn was doing Hatha Yoga, you know, and maybe Ed and Shirley are doing something else, holistic or whatever, it can be done, and Master's words can be incorporated in the programs that you're doing. This is something that we can work out, you know, through headquarters. So I know a lot of people think, oh, I've never been trained in public speaking. Well, none of us were trained in anything in the mission of Master. He's made us carpenters, He's made us executives, He's made us real estate agents, you know, but underlying it all is His teachings working through the soul, through the lips of His children. So, you know, as I said before, from my heart, we're really happy that so many dear ones have answered the call. There's some dear ones from Canada here. We wanted to especially encourage them, because there's one active missionary there now, but he has very much experience, Michelle. And Sheila and I were hoping that, you know, Michelle could not only work at national headquarters, but also train those 3 or 4 or 5 missionaries, or 6, and Joseph too. Joseph and Mackie have been working to help strengthen Canada, to go out in that country that needs so much help. Before Master talks, I know you're tired of me, but we just needed to get over these technical things, because things were a little bit confusing, and there's a lot of new things that are happening. There is a missionary handbook that we went over with Master in India, and Lothar was there, and maybe 10 other dear ones from different countries were there. And as you know, Kurt and Gail have been working on it. Now already there's an appendix to it from a satsang that Master gave in Canada. So that, I believe, is printed, but it's still not available yet, because we want to make it 100% finished until Master gives us something new. We're going to make it so you can add more and more, because these things come and go. But this will also be a training handbook that you'll need to use also, that should come in very handy. I want to tell you also that for those dear ones who have done the missionary work, that it's really true that the people feel that they know they're connected to God, and they know, even though Master says he doesn't connect them to his own self, but he does connect them to his heart, because even though we're doing the work for him, they don't feel connected to us. They say thank you, you know, very much, but we've had people say, I've been looking for a Master for 20 years, and thank God, you know, my Master came. People have had dreams like the night before telling them to go to the satsang where Master's appeared inside. Since he physically obviously can't be doing this work, then his power is working, and we're just the instruments and just the puppets. And my dear German sister said, it's true the negative power keeps us from speaking. I feel in my heart it's true. But we all can become his ambassadors of truth. When Master's done, and I was going to ask the dear ones that who have in their hearts want to be new missionaries, or they want to renew their forms, or if they have any questions, that perhaps they can go to the halfway point up the hill and with Kurt and Gail, and they'll be taking your names and your addresses and also be giving you a little more information. And then we're going to try and coordinate this first training session. For the dear ones who are interested in becoming missionaries, is September a good time? I know it's probably hard. And if we need to come to this coast also, we can do a training session at the Mount of Kendra. Maybe, when you speak to Kurt and Gail, you could talk to them. For the older missionaries, you're okay. I think there's some new information in the missionary handbook. For the dear ones who have already given public talks and have, that you're all right. You'll just have to update yourself with the handbook, because there are a few changes. Also, Master has asked that we stop giving the last name. That doesn't mean that you give the first 4 names and not the last name. That means to dying people, that he's asked, like there were some doctors that were initiating or giving the last name, and he said that we, should no longer do this. And also he said we should not advertise this, but if someone that has a very hard disease such as AIDS or cancer, incurable cancer, that the burden on him is too hard now. And so lovingly, we can tell the people they're welcome to come to satsang. We can give them literature, but dear one, now the holy initiation would not be possible. And we feel, oh my God, but they've accepted it. I myself have spoken with several people who have had AIDS, and they've they've accepted it, and they respect that and they understand it. So don't feel hard, because it's Master's request and it's from him. Okay, also now, the age requirements for initiation is something that's very important that a lot of the dear ones are real confused about. If you're a missionary, and I'm sorry that I even was confused about the age requirements, but we really need to know those, and generally there are not exceptions. There used to be in the past when Master wasn't so burdened, but if you can imagine, he has missionaries all over the world, and in Africa and India, they're doing very much initiation work. So his, the karmas are now more and more for him to bear. So he's given us guidelines, and so we have to follow the guidelines. And they're in your missionary handbook for the age requirements for children. I think that's the number one question we have, or what are the age requirements? But they're in your handbook. So make sure you refer to those. And you have to be strong. You have to be loving, but strong. If someone says, oh, my 6-year-old really wants light, oh, really, really, really. We had a couple who was following us on tour saying, please, 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 please. And, and we had to say, no, Master has said, and your child is too young, your child is too young. Then they did accept it. And we said, well, how much are you meditating on sound with your child? 5 or 10 minutes. See, so you have to be a little careful, And if you have any questions at any time, we've had people say, oh, well, I called you Saturday night at 11 and you weren't there. Well, we're on East Coast time, and our office hours officially are from 9 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday. And for emergencies, we can be reached during the weekend, for missionaries. But Sundays are when we have satsang, and so we're usually not available between 9 and 2 on Sundays. And also, if you have any kind of crisis, if you're on tour or anything, then sometimes I give out my own phone number to some of the dear ones that can be reached. But we're a crew of about 14 now, with Kurt and Gail coming, and their main work is going to be missionary work, and they're the ones that are really going to be working with you and being more in communication with you. Is there anybody that has any questions about what we've gone over?
I think I would like to speak, but I'm doing I plan to do 3 hours a day. Is that enough?
of meditation. Master, she wants to not be a missionary but speak, and she's meditating 3 hours a day.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But it's in your favor that if more you will meditate, the more you will have power of every kind to face any kind of situation. So when you are to work, you should be really ready for your work. If a military man goes in front and he finds there's no weapon, nothing is there, how he will fight? So you should have great strength of your meditation. Meditation is your all weapon. It is not only 6 hours, may it be 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. The more you gather the strength of God, Master, in you, the more you will be successful. It is not that we have laid some certain kind of standards. The 6 hours is a standard, let it be, that it is practical for all of you. All of you can do it. Otherwise, it is not a real standard that you are, this is sufficient. This I cannot say. It is much more needed, really. It is not sufficient. But it is only for your practicability that it is possible. So that is why this 6 hours has been fixed. You can do it little more or less. But this will really give you very much grace, strength and purification and your power, and that you are to be successful for this purpose. You may keep in mind like this.
Also, before usually we give the missionary talk, it's good to work as a team, to have someone help you set up, because if you're going to be doing the satsang, as the master said, you should meditate as much as possible and not talk to anyone. Meditate on the way. Try to, meditate in a corner where no one can see you or whatever, because that's really, really necessary that you bring God's charging with you to the satsang, and you will find all help in that way. Nancy?
What counts as meditation? I feel like I'm sleeping.
There is such like difficulties, some people. But when you get up from such like sleepy state, I don't think you are feeling lazy or idle or weak. It means that this meditation is some kind of unconscious meditation due to the burden of karmas, or maybe of your own, or maybe from the gathering. It also happens sometimes that because we are not always doing this spiritual work in surrender to master power. Our ego is always to some extent working. But that can be counted in the meditation. But if you are trying to meditate with active posture, not leaning sideways or backside, because this will attract at once the sleepiness. Your posture must be, I think, active posture, and then don't worry about anything. Then you can go along. It will be okay.
I had a bad back, so if I lay down, as long as my head is up, is that true that it will be all right? It'll be kind of meditation?
But you go to sleep?
Not always.
No, it is okay. But still, I will not allow that you should go on with this laying down meditation, because perhaps maybe 10% of people who will keep awake. 90% people will go to sleep. So try to make a habit of active posture meditations, which is really working. What is the difficulty? You cannot sit straight?
Not for a long period of time.
You see, you can lean with the wall a little, or you can, there are some people who have some kind of this T shape. Yes, and you can just put your head over there, like this a little.
Master, are there any requirements to open satsang and to do public speaking?
This part you are prepared. You are asked to do all this.
In the training sessions, you'll be trained.
But not to become missionary, just to do public talks and satsang?
If you get little training, it is okay. Otherwise, if you can't do without it, it is okay. All right.
Even speaking to your relatives or friends is giving satsang.
Huh?
The part about making sure the person really understands and is sincere in their commitment, we found that we go over and over the requirements many times, and we give people time to leave, and they stay, and we say, are you really sure it's okay if you can't do this, it's fine, and we go over the requirements many times, and then the very next day or even that night they come up and say, well, I changed my mind, or I'm not going to be a vegetarian, or this and that. How, I mean...
After initiation?
Yeah.
It is okay, don't worry. Don't worry. You are not at fault. They have been helped, and they after some time will come to the line.
Master, what about if we're in our own personal meditation? If we're heading towards the light and entities kind of pull us down, jump up, or whatever, how do we deal with that?
His own meditation. His own meditation.
The meditations are themselves a solution to all such like problems. Meditate more. That is especially sound meditation. It will clean you very much. Meditation is perfect in everything. There's nothing that which cannot be handled by meditation.
I was wondering about the logistics of they have to attend 2 satsangs now to get initiated.
See what
if you do a 2-day program, some people will show up the first day, but some will
okay.
show up the second day, and then you don't have another day.
Now, here's how you do it, is you plan for that, is that you only advertise one program. And you advertise, say, like Saturday afternoon, there'll be a, inner light and sound and this and that. We'll have the posters ready. Then what you can do is give the requirements and say those who are interested to receive the initiation are asked to come, tomorrow, back the next day or whatever. And then you speak to them again, and then you can give them the initiation. So you wouldn't advertise both nights. And
then you'll get a lot of people that will say, well, I'm not prepared to come back tomorrow because I already have a...
Well, then what you can do is make a commitment, because how we're going to tell our missionaries that they should spend at least a month or 2 months in one area. So the traveling missionaries will be available, or a stationary missionary. If you're living in that area, then you can make your own arrangements with the people. Okay, I know, it's confusing. Timothy.
You mentioned earlier we should do away with all the spiritual literature we have, being away from the past. In the past, we have advertised various spiritual publications. Should we continue to do that?
Well, this was actually from national headquarters from the last tour. Master told us not to be advertising in these New Age and other spiritual magazines, that we should be reaching the general public in the widest circulation. Okay? But if we can get something free, we can do that. For my heart, I just want to say that it seems complicated, the missionary work, but it's not. The complicated part is preparing, is getting the place to speak and getting the word out to the people. That's a little complicated. But actually doing the work for Master is not complicated. Pat? Yeah?
Why doesn't Master want us to advertise in New Age magazines? Because people who really need help, at least in the LA area, that's where they turn to.
Well, we found in our canvassing that if we were going to spend Master's money, that we didn't want to limit ourselves to people who are already pretty taken over by negativity, and hardly any of those people come. And if they come, they argue, because they're already spiritual healers, or they're already under Muktananda or somebody like that. But we found that if we could spend the same amount of money and reach 100,000 more people, that the general public will come more readily. And as far as using Master's money, that's what was decided for that. Did you want to say something?
Somebody.
But if you had a choice of your time and effort to advertise in what we call a straight newspaper, it's better to use your time in a straight newspaper. But if they're gonna, of course, if we want to get everywhere so everybody can read it. But if you're spending any money, it should only be done in the normal newspapers. But if they'll do it for free, then of course we want everybody to be able to read, you know. But we found that it's not successful in these publications.
And there are free publications that are offered to the general public, little local
Right, penny saver and stuff.
activity papers that every week they
Right.
what activities are going on
See,
in their community.
See, this is called cooperation with national headquarters, to be honest with you, because we've done so many times. We have press packs and we have, you know, everything already researched and upgraded and updated to give the missionaries to use. And, you know, maybe 90 out of 100 missionaries will, you know, respect that and go for it and make it simple. But some of the dear ones, you know, like they want to do their own thing, which is okay too, as long as they work in cooperation. You know, Master's controlling everything, but we're still under corporate and federal laws too. And there's some things, you know, like someone did a poster saying that that they would be able to cure the people of, and they listed all these diseases, tuberculosis, this and that, and it was like faith healing, you know. And we have to be so careful because the negativity wants to shut Master's work down, and it won't, but it sure is a hassle to go through, you know. So.
My question is to avoid that. Would it not be better if we submit what we are going to advertise?
Well, actually, you'll be given from headquarters everything. All you do is give us the time, date, and place of your talks, and we send you everything. Your press packs, your posters, everything.
Maybe we should send a copy of what we're going to advertise, and then you could...
No, we'll send it to you.
No, and then when it's in the paper, just, you know, so that we don't get people advertising all the diseases and the cures and whatever. It could be controlled.
Yeah, that's why, you know, when you come to headquarters too, it'll be a little more clear because we'll actually be sitting down with you and saying, okay, here's a press release, here's 30-second, here's 60-second, here's what you do, here's how you approach the media, and this and that, you know. Is there anybody else at Abu?
Understand public speaking in prison, public speaking in high schools, and public speaking
in high school.
That's very useful. Because new generation is feeling like having information.
You know, public speaking on the talk radio show, like that talk radio show where people call in.
Well, talk radio show, a radio show also.
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay, but you have...
Yeah, which can be used. That may be used.
But I had a horrible experience in Canada. Just, you don't want to go on college radio.
But my dear, everywhere you are not a failure, but you may face failure. But after some time, if you go on working patiently, all the failure will turn into a success. That is for sure. All failures are preparing you for a success. Every hit which is there to you, that becomes a touch of flower to you, because you are doing the work of God. And negative power has to do its own duty, because it cannot bear God. So it has to hurt you, it has to kick you, it has to create some problem for you. But you have not only negativity with you, there is Master also with you, there is also God with you, and He knows how you are kicked, how you are hit, and how you are opposed. And then He will arrange that all that which you have suffered, He will collect and will change into a blessing. And you will be blessed with, and you will be successful. Never feel that you are unsuccessful. Ever. This word, disappointment or failure is not in your life when you are working in the mission of the Master. There can be difficulties and problems, but there cannot be disappointment or failure. You are always to be optimistic, and that you will see that the end is there that you will be conqueror, conqueror, and conqueror. We have gone through such like very, very hard situations, but every hard situation prepared a way for us. It did not remain a hardship or a obstruction, but it prepared a wonderful way for us. And it is preparing, it is serving in this way. It is a blessing in disguise, my dear. Don't worry. Have faith in Master and God power. It is working. Anything more they have to say?
Farley?
Getting back to meditation, I've been trying to increase my meditation ever since I got the notice, for the new requirements, and especially in the evening. But I do sit up all night lots of times. I sleep most of the time, or at least 2/3 or whatever. And I don't really consider that meditating. I might get 2 solid hours or maybe 3 possibly in the day. By utilizing that type of schedule. And it's just personal requirements that keep me back, so I have that experience. Of course,
But you've helped very much the missionaries, like you've done so much of the setup and so much financial seva. So he's having trouble sleeping in meditation. And that's why he hasn't signed his form. Even though he sits all night, he's sleeping.
No, it is okay. If you are sitting and then you are feeling unconscious in this meditation, that is no difficulty. That you can count as time in meditation. I think so many of you would have such like difficulties. It is something common. Especially for missionaries it is common. Because no doubt Master has to take all the burden of karmas of the people. But still missionaries have also to share something out of it. There is a burden upon you also, and your meditations will not be really working. In seeing meditation especially, you will be really working hard. Hearing is a little better. But your meditations will be used up for cleaning yourself from the effect of the karmas of the other people. And in this way, your meditations are not really something that you could not meditate, this something that you have lost something. But you have worked wonderfully to help others. And when you help others, then the Master will help you. It is indirect help to you. That you help others and Master will help you. So your all stock is kept with the Master. This is also very important system from the Master, that he will not let you available inner experiences. He will not open all these things for you, especially in seeing meditation. Because when you have given stock, then you will give it to the people and you are left with nothing. Because we have got a heart, when you go to the people, you have to go with the heart, that all these people should be benefited, all these people should be connected, all these people should accept what I say. If you do not take such like heart, you cannot be successful. Then you have nothing with you. So you have to go with such a heart that everyone is to be benefited and connected. And then what happens, that what is your own collection or the stock of meditation, that you go on giving, and then you are losing. And this is the reason that Master takes in his own control all your meditation experiences. And he gives you only little, which is just for you, and is safe with you, and you are not losing. This is the rule. So your work is to go on meditating 6 hours, more or less, and that don't worry about the experiences. Let it be in the will of Master Power, whatever he gives you. But at least sound should be there. Sound must be there, and something of seeing will also be there. But after some time, try to come over here in Manav Kendra as you come on some excursions, just to overhaul yourself. The machinery is to be overhauled after years use, and that you are meditating for a month or 20 days or little more or less, and you again gather sufficient merchandise or something like that with you, that again you are ready for a good start in the missionary work to reach the people, and that you are really successful and effective. So in this way, you will be able to go and depend upon the Master Power. Wherever you go, you are not alone ever. For whom you are going, he is also with you always, because you are doing his work. So he is also responsible to be with you and to help you at every occasion, at every moment. This is the main thing. Your own things, how much you have read the books or some other things, how much you can talk about very successfully, that is secondary thing. But to remain connected with the Master and depend upon his help and work in his own surrender to him, that is the major thing which is to help you and make you successful. Anybody, in Adi Granth it is told that if there is a dumb person, and the Master will give him speech, and that will be able to work. That any person who is totally incapable of doing anything, the Master Power has power to give every kind of working system to that person. He is fully competent. Nobody can say that I am incapable of doing missionary work. You should have heart. I feel like working. And come up with your heart, and you will be given every kind of knowledge, wisdom, strength. And the audience will be really influenced by you when you are working in surrender to the Master Power. Their hearts will be accepting you really. So my dear, it is not you, it is he who is to work. This is a special thing which you are to grasp, that and we are only for him. It is not that you are to be missionaries. Everybody is to be missionary. He who is initiated and connected with the Master is only to live for the Master, only to live for God to whom he is connected. If that person lives for anybody else or one's own self even, is a sinner. Is a sinner really. But you should thank God that you are at least not sinners. You have come out of the category of sinners. And that you are with him, whatever you do, doesn't matter now. You do little or more, you are uncapable or less capable or more capable of working as missionary, that doesn't matter. But your heart is there that I am to live only for this purpose, this holy purpose, for which God has given me this human body, that I can speak. I can speak, and that I will speak only of God, only of this truth, only of the mission of the Master, and for the Master. Only for this purpose my speech is there. My life is only for this purpose. This is only a lifestyle. There's no other lifestyle. That those who will find life, they will lose it. And those who will lose it for my sake, they will find it. This is very true, very true. That if you just give up everything of this world, and it is not that you have got nothing, you have got everything. Today in the satsang I told you that a person who has nothing in this world, ask him what have you got, he will say I have nothing. He is telling lies, he is telling something totally wrong. He has got everything in him. And you say that I have so much things, this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing, he has got nothing really. So you keep connected with your everything inside the master and your everything. There is nothing that you are not having with you. Everything wonderful is there. And those people who are having something and they are disconnected from inside and they only feel glorified and great in the worldly lifestyle, they are really negative side. They are on debts, not only neutral that they have not got anything, but they have everything negative. And they will suffer for it. They will suffer and suffer for it. So this lifestyle which has been given to God, given by God to us, that this is knowledge, this is the wisdom, with which you, my dear human beings, are to live. This we are to learn, we are to know, and we are to tell each and every person that why anyone should suffer. As I was thinking today also when coming back from the satsang, some children were crying. And some people were also having some difficulty and problems. When I was thinking, will there be any time that there will be no sorrow, no pains? And as it is given in Revelation that now God will wipe out all their tears. There will be no more sorrows, no more pains, no more miseries, no more sufferings, no more death. It is told 2000 years back, it was told. But it could not happen. If it happened, I don't know. There might be some person. But at least I could not find as yet that a person is there who could not find suffering, a problem, or some kind of sorrow in one's life. Everybody is going through, or mainly we are going through sufferings and sorrows. Perhaps a lucky one may be able to smile for a little time, but not really. Then is this the life? Should it go on? Why should it go on? We have been given this little brain to think over it. Think over it. Why there are people who are sorrow and pains are there. They are in difficulties and they are not happy. Should everything not be abolished from this world? That everyone should be glowing, everyone should be happy, everyone should be smiling, and everything should be there with everyone. There should be no shortage of anything. This is possible. If this is possible, why it should not be there? It is only our lackness, our weakness, that we are not coming up, and we are still under the control of the negative power. And this I am struggling that all of you should come out of the control of the negative power and just awaken in your own knowledge, own wisdom, own peace, own great competency, and that you may shake all the negativity of this world, and that God is controlling and God is working and God is blessing. Each and every soul is with Him, in Him. With Him, in Him. Then where there will be any sorrow, any pain. But why we are in pains? Why we are in sufferings? This should be a question to us. That we are to end this, we are to end this, we are to end up this. So be strong, be brave, don't take rest till you are out of sufferings, out of worries, out of problems, out of sorrows. And when you are out of all these such like things, then you can relax. Then you can relax. Then you should feel living. Otherwise negative power will crush you. It will not let live anybody. It will destroy you, and will continuously for millions and millions of ages it will go on destroying you. If you just relax under its control. This is never to be accepted, never to be accepted. You are to be free and in your own God, and then you can live in this world. This is your aim of life. This is the truth. This is called a life. Otherwise, we are just dependent. Dependency maybe on parents is also something hard. Dependency of wife or husband on each other, or on relatives or friends, or on money, or on our health, or some other helping factors. That is not life. You have to be perfect in your own self.